I'm going to show a couple applications of background removal in Word. This is something that's newer in the last couple of versions. So this project with the Promise Zone was one that where some applications of this came in handy. So the first thing that when I was adding to this, one of the things that I was asked to do was to add in the census tracts and the numbers that are associated with them. With that, in the newer versions of Word, you can create text boxes that have a clear background. So, for example, with 21 right here, this is just a typical text box with the number in there and then with a clear background. To do that, all you have to do is go to Insert, and you want to insert a text box. And I was just use the draw text box. Put in whatever size text box you want and put whatever text you have. Let's see. Kind of size this to where it works for what your situation is. And then what you want to do is just click on that and go to we have the format bar that's up here. And if you have been working somewhere else, you just click over here on format. And what you want to do is make sure that the shape fill is no fill and that the shape outline is no outline. And then what you can do is you move this around, you can put whatever text you want in there and it shows up, but it does, you don't have a big white spot behind that. You can do the same thing with clip art. You can insert pictures in there and different things and use the same. You can move, you have the text box that you can move around easily and you can put over other layers on a Word document, but you can do so without it creating a white background. Second application is a little more advanced, and this is an example of ultimately what sort of product you want to end up with. This right here, the emblem for Crawfordsville for their logo. In this picture, you just have the circle in place, and you can see that the line that is the background with the text there runs through this, and kind of has like a decorative look to it. But when you click on the picture itself, you can see it's just a normal circular image, or I'm sorry, a square image. And so what I've done there is I've removed the background in this picture so that, like what I showed a second ago, only parts of the photo that I've chosen are actually showing, everything else is clear. This is a simple example of this from the internet, and this is just Emma Donan's mascot, and this is just an image that was taken from Google search. What you do is you click on the image and you can see Picture Tools and Format shows up at the top. Go to Format and then you go to Remove Background. This is going to allow you to start working with this. The first thing that you can do is use the square that shows up in the box here. You can resize this to include the aspects of the picture that you want. Generally, this is enough with a simple image like this to pull in. Word's pretty good about recognizing what is part of the photo or the picture and what's not. So you can see after I've resized this, the areas that are in the pink, those are going to be removed from the background. And the areas that show up in color like they were in the actual photo, those are what's now going to show through. You can see that it has not recognized the eyes or part of the nose. So what you can do if you have a more complicated picture or you want to make some changes, you can use the mark areas to keep and then the mark areas to remove features. It's usually a little easier if you zoom in. And for example, what you would do in this case is we'll say we want to keep his nose. Just click on that, and you'll add a plus sign to this area here. And when it's a really well-defined difference here, you know, this is all one color, all one, it's not very pixelated, it usually picks this up pretty well. When you have thinner lines and that sort of thing, sometimes you might have to add some additional heat icon selection. So you might, you know, in this example, you might have had to put one over here, or you know, even down here. You do the same thing with the eyes if you chose to, and in this case, it's just adding one space in. Like I said, this is a very simple example. With more complicated pictures, this gets a little more difficult, and you can really have to zoom in. And like for example, in situations like with this mouth here, you might have to add something along all of these lines. And what you can see is sometimes changes that you make in one part of the picture affect selections that you've made elsewhere. Sometimes it can be a little less user-friendly. So what you might have to go back and do is add in some more add features here. Same thing with the delete. You can take out aspects of the photo. Like let's say we wanted to get rid of this spot right here. We can add, you can see that starting to come out. And you could just go along here and you know, you can set up a little perimeter with these. And after you get the hang of it, you can do some pretty cool stuff with it. Once you're finished, you can keep the changes. And now this photo, especially if you put it in a text box, you can move this around in your document. And if you have other graphics features, they will sit underneath that, and then you can see those other features coming through like the outside of this, like we had in the first example from Crawfordsville. All right, well, I hope that's helpful, and I will talk to everyone later.